I think we're experiencing the same thing right now. Every single day, someone is telling us that AI is either the biggest opportunity in human history or the biggest bubble that we've ever seen. And honestly, I understand why people are skeptical. Because if you spend enough time online, AI starts to feel like a giant marketing campaign. And I get it because I'm part of that campaign. Every single week, there's another AI tool, another $1 billion valuation, another company claiming they've changed everything. And after a while, it starts sounding a little bit ridiculous. And that's exactly why so many people have arrived at the same conclusion that AI is overhyped. But I think something interesting is happening. I think people are looking in completely wrong places because yes, some of the hype is probably excessive. Some of the valuations are insane. Some of the companies will absolutely disappear. But underneath all of that noise, there's something much bigger happening. And I don't think enough people are paying attention to it. Because while everyone's arguing about whether AI is a bubble, businesses are quietly changing how work gets done. And that shift might end up being the far bigger thing than the hype itself. And the funny thing is, we've actually seen this film before. People said the internet was overhyped. People said smartphones were a fad. People thought social media was ridiculous. Even cloud software sounded absurd. Why would companies trust their data on someone else's servers? It sounded mad. We don't really think about any of those technologies anymore, because eventually they become infrastructure. They simply become part of life. I think AI is moving through exactly the same phase. Right now, we're all still focused, right? And a little bit spectacle. The headlines, the funding rounds, the crazy predictions, the shiny demos. But technologies rarely change the world through spectacle. They change the world through boring improvements, tiny improvements, and people like us who are using it on a day-to-day basis, repeated millions of times, until suddenly everything works differently. That's where I think people are missing the story here. Let's say that you own a service business, nothing particularly glamorous. Maybe you're a consultant in an agency or you run an online business, and AI doesn't need to invent flying cars to change your life. But imagine this. Your onboarding takes 3 hours, now it takes 2 minutes. Your proposals take 90 minutes, now it takes 45 seconds. Your team meetings generate action plans automatically, clients get email drafts instantly, research that took hours now takes seconds. Documentation updates itself, content becomes easier to create, internal systems become easier to manage, and nothing there feels revolutionary. No dramatic headlines, no robots, no science fiction, but add all of these improvements together and suddenly you're running a completely different business. And that's where people miss. AI isn't just about replacing tasks. It's about compressing time. And time is one of the most valuable assets in business. And I think there's 3 main reasons people believe AI is overhyped. Number 1 is they expect miracles. They try ChatGPT once, ask it to write a blog, and the blog sounds generic. And then they decide, right, AI is rubbish. And that would be likely going to the gym once and decide that like fitness doesn't work for you. Number 2, they use AI as entertainment. They're generating images, making funny videos, asking random questions, and there's nothing wrong with that. I still do it sometimes now, but that's not where business value is actually coming from. And then number 3, they're measuring AI against humans, and I think that is the biggest mistake, because people can ask, can AI replace employees? Can AI replace consultants? Can AI replace designers? It's the wrong question. The better question is how much better can people become when AI removes friction from their working life? That is the shift. And I think the real world nobody talks about is this. And that is the leverage behind it. Every generation gets a new form of leverage, like factories, computers, software, internet, the mobile phone, cloud computing. AI is simply another form of leverage. A good operator can suddenly research faster, write faster, analyze faster, communicate faster, organize faster, build better systems faster, not because they suddenly become more intelligent, but because friction disappeared. Imagine you save 1 hour per day, 5 hours per week, 20 hours per month. And now this is such low numbers every year. It's infinite with what I do now compared to before. And that's basically like 6 weeks. You haven't hired anyone. You haven't worked harder. You've simply removed friction. Like multiply that across an entire business. Now things start becoming really interesting. And I think that this is why people are shouting that AI is overhyped. Might accidentally be missing what is actually happening, because the transformation is happening quietly. Businesses aren't waking up and replacing entire departments overnight. They're doing something much less dramatic. They're changing workflows, one process at a time, one task at a time, one bottleneck at a time, and eventually those improvements will compound. Think about email. Nobody made a documentary about email replacing letters. It just happened. Eventually, businesses worked differently. I think AI is doing exactly the same thing. It's becoming infrastructure. And infrastructure rarely feels exciting. Electricity isn't exciting. The internet isn't exciting anymore. Cloud storage isn't exciting. But remove them tomorrow and everything stops. And that is where AI is right now, and it's definitely heading. And I actually don't think the winners are going to be the most technological people, or the people with 50 AI subscriptions, or the people posting like you need 100 prompts a day. I think the winners are going to be people who ask better questions like, what causes the most friction? Where do I waste the most time? What gets repeated constantly? What creates confusion? What delays decisions? Because those are the business problems. AI is incredibly useful at solving business problems. And I think businesses that embrace this mindset will simply move faster. They will learn faster, adapt faster, experiment faster, serve customers better, not because they're smarter, but just because they've got leverage. So, is AI overhyped? Honestly, in some areas, probably yes. Some valuations are ridiculous. Some companies won't survive. Some promises won't happen. Every major technological shift comes with speculation. But underneath all that, I think AI is actually underappreciated, because most people are still thinking, can AI write my emails? When the real question is, what happens when entire workflows become easier? And that's the part that changes industries. Not one prompt, not one tool, not one viral demo, but the accumulation of thousands of small improvements. And that is where transformation lives. And I think 10 years from now, we won't remember most AI tools. Most of the apps are going to disappear, and most of the hype won't matter. But I think we'll remember something else. This period where work fundamentally changed, where leverage became available to almost anyone, where solo business owners could operate like a small team, where companies could remove huge amounts of friction, where people learned how to use AI just dramatically become more effective. And that's the real story. And honestly, that's why I don't spend too much time asking, is AI a bubble? I spend more time asking, how do I use this to think better, work better, and build better systems for me, my clients, and my company, and my team? Because even if half the hype disappears tomorrow, the question still matters. And I think people who learn to answer it now are going to have an enormous advantage in the next 12 months. But what I want to talk about before you jump off is understanding that there are AI outputs versus AI intelligence. Intelligence is the thing that is going to create predictable growth for you in your life and your business. And what I've been building the last 12 months is a system called Titan Code OS. And it's a central operating system that combines every single thing in your business into one place as a high-level overview, where you've also got the ability to actually communicate directly with it. So rather than having 40 to 50 different sheets and SOPs and information and guessing what is working and what isn't, you have a central operating system where you can manage, scale, and build the lot. And then on top of that, I also provide my clients with easy step-by-step copy and paste SOPs for getting Claude set up at high level, which would be over £100,000 a month normally in staff wages that can be removed just from that system alone. But that's basically growth, guys. Like, growth for me is not just about the output, it's about the intelligence that builds predictability. So if you want to find out more about what we do, there's a link in the description. If you're not subscribing, guys, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.